going to show you some easy ways to make some model trees. Trees are brilliant on stage because they give easy indication of location, season, and emotional or atmospheric quality to your design. I would always start by finding the trees that I want to put on stage by going into the woods and drawing them. Or you could find some images from magazines. I've ripped one out from a magazine there, or postcards of things that you like. These are ones that I've drawn from the woods. And once you've found the trees that you like, then you can start to think about the best way to model them. I've got some easy ways to show you though. The easiest being to find something that exists in nature that you can use straight away. So herbs are brilliant because even when they're dried, they keep their shape and often they keep their leaves. So something like this, you could use as a Nordic fir. This kind of thing, which is actually marjoram, I really love to use because all you need to do is tape those together and paint that, and you very quickly have a cherry tree. I've got one here. So I taped together the trunks and painted them, and now that could be a cherry tree. Another really easy way is to make a 2D tree. And I've got one here that I've made in silhouette. So this is a much smaller scale. This is if you're using the 1:100 scale. It's very easy to do. You start by drawing the trunk and a few of the branches. Just like that. And then carefully cut it out. So it just needs a little bit of glue on the bottom of that tree, and then sticking on the branches. And that is the tree. If you can't find a tree that's exactly how you want it to look, then you might need to add something to it, like leaves. So this is a stalk from a piece of thyme, and I'm going to add leaves to that by using crushed eggshell. So this is a shell which I've baked in the oven, and it's quite important to put it in the oven first because otherwise it will smell. But once it's been put in the oven for a few minutes, you can paint it on the outside, and then you can just crush it to make leaves. You can make them as big or small as you like. The smaller you make them, the more fiddly they are to put on, but arguably the more realistic. And once you've done that, you just need some wood glue, PVA glue, and you can start sticking them on. One's a bit big, so just break it up a bit smaller. You need quite a lot of glue to get this to stick. There we go. The other way to add leaves to a stalk is using tissue paper. So this is a grape stalk that we've taken the grapes off from, and tissue paper, which I've painted on. It was green tissue paper. I've just added a bit of brown, very roughly, and it's very simple. You just scrumple up that paper. You make sure you've got some glue. Add a bit of glue, and this makes a looser kind of tree. It's slightly more abstract, but that's good because it means you can give it the feeling that you want it to have. And you just keep adding green until you think it's got enough, and then it will need to dry somewhere for about half an hour. You can see that's beginning to come together now. So eventually you'll end up with something which is more like that. So that's just a grape stalk with tissue paper. To make any of these trees stand up, all you need is a tiny piece of plasticine. I use either grey or black, and normally just a tiny piece like that is enough to hold up a whole tree. The main thing is that you make the trees look exactly how you want them to look. There is no right or wrong. They could be as hyper-realistic or as surreal as you want them to be. It's up to the designer to make a choice about the right tree